Okay, here we are with the answers to Benjy quiz number 11. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you didn't have too many arguments in the family. Please don't contact me with arguments. I'll just ignore them. I asked you which of these pairs, out of each pair, I asked you which was the elder sportsman. So Gary Lineker, Ryan Giggs. It's Gary Lineker by a reasonably long chalk. Gary Lineker is 59 currently at the time of recording, and Ryan Giggs is 46. So Gary Lineker, 13 years older nearly. Out of question 2, Mo Farah and Usain Bolt. Mo Farah is the older. He's 37. Usain Bolt is 33. I asked you which Williams sister was older for question 3, Venus or Serena. The answer is Venus Williams. She's only a year older. She's 39. Serena Williams is 38. Question 4, I asked you which was older out of Steve Davis and Jimmy White. Currently, Steve Davis is 62. Jimmy White is 57. So Steve Davis is the older, although rather more baby-faced than Jimmy White, as I recall. But yes, Steve Davis, older by about 5 years. And lastly, I asked you which was older out of Ellie Simmons and Nicola Adams. Nicola Adams is 37, whereas Ellie Simmons is 25. Ellie Simmons has been competing in the Paralympics since she was about 12, I think. She won her first medals when she was very, very young indeed. So yes, she's the younger. So your correct answer is Nicola Adams as the oldest of those two. I then asked you about all this blither about standard form. I just needed to know how many extra zeros you needed to add to the sentence to make it correct. So the distance to the moon, rounded up, is 400,000 kilometres. So you needed 5 zeros. So your correct answer was 5. It's actually 384,400 kilometres. So rounded up, 400,000 kilometres. So your correct answer to question 6 was 5. Correct answer to question 7, the estimated number of insect species worldwide. This is an incredible number. It's 9 million. There are 9 million estimated species of insect. They outnumber us massively. They're going to take over the world. So 9 million, that's 6 zeros. So your correct answer was 6. I asked you how many molecules there were in just over 18 grams of water. That's 1 mole of water. A mole is a magical number in chemistry, physics, chemistry, where basically if you know the molecular weight or the atomic weight of the atoms and molecules making up your substance, then you can know that if you have that number of grams, there will be this number of molecules. So 18 is the molecular weight of 1 oxygen and 2 hydrogens. 16 plus 1 plus 1 gives you 18. So you know you've got 1 mole of water in 18 grams. And that's 6 times 10 to the 23. So you need 23 zeros. I'm not even going to attempt to put a name on that number in terms of a figure, but it's referred to as Avogadro's constant. He was the guy that came up with it, I assume. Either that or someone named it after him. Maybe someone was having avocado at the time and they just had their mouth full. Question 9. I asked you how many legs there were on the leggiest of millipedes. That would be 750. So 7 times 10 to the 2. You needed 2 zeros after the 7 to make it 700, which is about the same. It's rounded down. Even if I'd said 8, it would still be 2 zeros. So yeah, and that's the leggiest of millipedes. Most millipedes have fewer than that. Must be hell if they get a bit drunk. Question 10. I asked you the estimated number of stars in the Milky Way. That's 1 to 4, followed by 11 zeros. Which feels like not a lot until you actually think about how many it is. It's quite a lot. So yeah, 1 to 4 and then 11 zeros. I then asked you about those films. Hopefully it became very clear very quickly that they were all part of the James Bond franchise. So I wanted for half a point the name of the movie and for half a point the name of the person playing James Bond in that movie. So question 11 was the wonderful Tom Jones version of Thunderball. Obviously you didn't get to hear him sing, so it could have been anyone, but it was Tom Jones, Thunderball. So half a point for Thunderball and half a point for Sean Connery, who was playing James Bond in that movie. Question 12. was the introduction to Skyfall, which was an Adele number. So Skyfall for half a point, and Daniel Craig for half a point. He was Bond in Skyfall. Question 13 was Sheryl Crow doing Tomorrow Never Dies. So half a point for that, and half a point for Pierce Brosnan, who was James Bond in that movie. Question 14. I think this is the most obscure one, but I do like it because it's 80s marvellousness. It's Aha doing The Living Daylights. So half a point for The Living Daylights and half a point for Timothy Dalton, who was James Bond in that movie. I think he did 2. He was certainly the shortest serving, unless you count George Lazenby. And question 15. Paul McCartney and the Wings doing Live and Let Die. So half a point for Live and Let Die, half a point for Roger Moore. So you've got one of each of the Bonds, not including George Lazenby there. I wonder who will be the next one. Will it be Daniel Craig again or not? And then I asked you about the sculptors. First one was this guy doing Bruce Forsyth. It's not Bruce Forsyth. That's Rodin. The sculpture is The Thinker by Auguste Rodin. So your point, all you needed for the point was Rodin, R-O-D-I-N. If you spelt it wrong, I don't care. Question 2, that sort of donut with the harp strings crisscrossed across it. That's Barbara Hepworth. Lots of her stuff is very sort of big curved sculptural elements, and those sort of string across things are quite her as well. There's a big one on the side of John Lewis on Oxford Street in London. Question 18. Those very tall leggy figures are classic Giacometti, Alberto Giacometti. So for the point, all you needed was Giacometti. But yeah, he does those very elongate figures. I think he's done some animals as well, if I remember rightly. Question 19 is, of course, Michelangelo's David. So Michelangelo for the point. His full name, just for your own edification, is Michelangelo di Lodovico Buonarroti Simoni. Who knew? And lastly, the amazing sculpture installation entitled Another Place. He says and instantly doubts the name of the sculpture. I think it's called Another Place. It's on Crosby Beach in the northwest in Merseyside, and it's by the amazing Anthony Gormley. So Gormley was enough for the answer there. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you've done all right. Leave me a like, give me a subscribe, watch another quiz, have fun, stay safe. Bye.